My golden child brother laughed at me at Thanksgiving when I announced my business idea and called it embarrassing. 6 years later, he sent me his application letter on my desk and quietly asked, "Do you still have any openings?" Thanksgiving at my parents' house was always a competition disguised as a family dinner. My older brother, Ethan, had been the golden child for as long as I could remember. Straight A student, Ivy League graduate, corporate job with a corner office before he turned 30. Every achievement of his was celebrated like a national holiday. I was the family disappointment. I'd switched colleges twice, quit a stable accounting job, and spent every spare dollar building handmade office furniture in my garage. My parents called it a phase. Ethan called it a joke. That Thanksgiving, my father asked everyone to share their plans for the future. Ethan talked about his promotion. My cousin announced her engagement. Then everyone looked at me. I smiled nervously and said, "I'm quitting my job next month. I'm starting a custom furniture business." The room fell silent. Then Ethan laughed. Not a polite chuckle, a full, loud laugh. "You?" he said. "You're going to build tables? Seriously? That's embarrassing." My mother shook her head. "You're almost 30, she sighed. "When are you going to start acting like an adult?" Even my uncle joked, "Maybe keep your resume updated." I forced a smile, finished dinner, and drove home, fighting back tears. That night, I made myself one promise. I would never ask any of them for help. The next 6 years weren't glamorous. I worked 18-hour days. I delivered furniture myself. I answered customer emails at 2 in the morning. Some months I barely paid rent. Other months I slept in my workshop because I couldn't afford both rent and new equipment. But every customer told another customer. One order became 10. 10 became 100. Eventually restaurants hired me, then hotels, then corporate offices. By year 6, my company employed 43 people and had a waiting list stretching 5 months. One Monday morning, my assistant knocked on my office door. "There's someone here asking if we're hiring." "Send them in." The door opened, and there stood Ethan. His expensive suit was gone. He looked exhausted. He held a manila folder in both hands. Without saying a word, he placed it on my desk. "Application for operations manager." I stared at it for several seconds. "I heard your company is doing well," he said quietly. "I was laid off 3 months ago." Silence filled the room. Then he looked me in the eyes. "I know I don't deserve this, but I need a chance." For the first time in my life, the golden child needed help from the family failure. I leaned back in my chair. "You remember Thanksgiving?" I asked. His face turned red. "I think about it all the time. I was cruel. I was arrogant. I thought success made me better than everyone else." He swallowed hard. "I'm sorry. Not because he wanted a job, because he finally understood what his words had done." I opened his resume. It was impressive. Years of management experience, strong references, exactly the kind of background we needed. I closed the folder. Then I smiled. "I don't hire family." His shoulders dropped. "But," he looked up, "I do hire qualified applicants." I handed him a visitor badge. "Your first interview starts in 10 minutes with my management team. They'll decide, not me." 3 interviews later, they unanimously recommended hiring him. He earned the position, not because he was my brother, because he proved he deserved it. On his first day, I showed him around the workshop. He stopped beside the very first dining table I'd ever built, the one everyone had mocked. "You kept it?" he asked. I nodded. "It reminds me why I started." He ran his hand across the wood. I laughed at this. "Yeah." He smiled sadly. "Turns out, the embarrassing idea built the life I always wanted." Before he left my office that first day, Ethan stopped at the door and turned back. "Thank you," he said. I nodded and smiled. "Don't thank me for giving you a chance," I replied. "Thank yourself if you earn it." For the first time in our lives, we weren't the golden child and the family disappointment anymore. We were simply 2 men, judged by the work we were willing to do.